I'm Vin,
And I'm Evan.
and we're the Cash Flow Bros. All right, so in this episode, we want to get real with you guys, starting episode 1, because there's many ways you can cash flow and try to retire, but we're going to talk about real estate in particular and why we choose this as a vehicle for our cash flowing retirement.
And real estate probably the easiest topic because when you're talking about real estate investment or any type of investment, real estate is a real assets, real property. Something is tangible that you can touch and you can nurture and you can take care of the property and explore all the possibility that you can leverage on that property. So that's why we choose this topic, and not only because it's our comfort zone, but it is something that we feel is the safest play compared to other assets.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can touch it, you can feel it. Stocks, I'm like, what is this imaginary thing right here, right? But we're not hating on stocks. It's good to have stocks as well and diversify. But I love real estate because there's so many ways you can try to make money out of it just from even one property. You know, there's something called forced appreciation, right? You can house hack, you can rent it out, you can add on and extend. So there's many ways, appreciation, even tax benefits. But why don't you tell us about some of your portfolio and what you got going on?
Yeah, man. So I got in this business, I would say accidentally with the right mindset.
Interesting. What does that mean?
Yeah, so it's funny, it's mouthful, but it's, put it into context is I got into the business as a lender, and I was working as a lender all day, helping people pre-qualify, buying the property for them. And then a couple of years later, I see the same person coming back for refinance, cashed out. And I'm like, wait a minute, you just bought a couple of years ago, and now you have $200,000-300,000 in equity, and they're doing it again, same concept. So, you know, from learning and crunching numbers of people, investments, starting to teach me that, you know, if I am doing this for somebody else, why am I not doing it for myself? And I'm skipping a lot in my of my story to get to where I wanted to get to, which is eventually I got into real estate business, and my mindset was not to sell property. And I think my client watching this video was like, Evan, he loves selling properties, but I was in the mindset of buying properties. Because my mentor once says to me that, hey, if and she didn't say to me in a sense of teaching me, she was saying in the sense of challenging me. She was challenging me in the sense where, hey, you're very good at telling people to buy this property or this deal. If it's so good, why aren't you buying it yourself? And that question hit me so hard.
Dude, I was just going to talk to you about that because there was another guy I was talking to about real estate out of market, right? And I was telling him about how much of a good deal this is. And he's like, you're a real estate agent. If it's such a good deal, why aren't you buying it? And I'm like, fuck, great point.
Yeah.
So, sorry to interrupt, but...
And no, anytime, because, you know, and that's how really my real estate investment journey got started. And then I bought that one particular deal. I figured out a way to do it. If there's a will, there's a way. As a self-employed loan officer, you can only imagine that there aren't many loan programs that was catering towards self-employed because your income is not fixed. Lender back then wasn't so flexible. They more into like a paper type of lending. They wanted to see that you got solid income, seasonal experience, all that stuff. And you know, to buy a rental property as a self-employed 1099 income, you got to jump to hoops to get that, right? So by doing all that, you learn how to, and you figured out loopholes and ways that there are certain, I would say, non-constitutional banks that have special program for these type of investor. So I start working with them and then start creating a program where I can actually share with my other real estate investor.
Yeah, no, I agree, man, because how you're talking about jumping through hoops and trying to get the loans to invest, but it's worth it because if you think about it, what other investment can you, let's say I only got 15,000. What other people are going to give me 15,000 where I can try to get an investment that's like 400, 500,000, right? Who's going to give me that? If I go to my mom and say, hey mom, you know, I got 15,000. Can you give me a few 100,000 back? No, that's not going to work. But in real estate.
A lot of people don't believe in brick and mortars, mainly because they feel like it's too much work involved and they have bad experience being a landlord, or they feel like it takes too long to get to that 25%, 45% in 1 year, or they can't 10x it fast enough.
Yeah.
And in real estate, it's not something you're looking to 10x all the time. I think real estate is more of a safe ground. You'd be lucky if you 1x, and that happened before,
Yeah.
in the spike of the market where you do see 1x within 1 year. But it is safe. But what's special about real estate is that you can leverage it.
Yep, that's the key word, leverage.
And you can leverage it, move into something more diversified that you can do 3x, 4x, and 5x.
Yeah, totally. No, I agree. Real estate, to me, if you're thinking about it like a barbecue, right? Slow burn, and the longer you wait, the better you probably get. So,
I'm trying to think of that. Now you make me hungry.
but in any case, man, yeah. I mean, what kind of projects or properties you got going on? Because I know you got a lot in your portfolio. So.
Yeah, so we're for the past 5-6 years, we still do some real estate flipping, but that's more for a short-term kind of investment. But we gradually wanted to move towards long-term investment. One project that I'm working on right now is the opportunity zone type of properties that allow me to 1031 exchange some of my over-leveraged property, if you will. If I 1031 exchange a few times already, and there's a high tax that I have to pay with OZ property, that's allowed me to 1031 exchange to that property. If I keep it more than 10 years, I can walk away tax-free.
Talk a little bit more about opportunity zone property.
Opportunity zones are the properties that the city dedicate a certain zone in their city that they need most attention. So to indulge the investor to come and invest in their city, they come up with programs that's kind of give you opportunity to wipe out some of your tax that you owe from 1031 exchange or some other format, and they forgive you for the tax if you invest in that property 1 and 2, you keep it more than 5 years or 10 years. There's 5 years, then they forgive 50%. 10 years, they forgive you 100%.
Is that separate? It's separate from the 1031 exchange too, then, right?
It is. It's separate because 1031 exchange is the tax code that allow you to defer tax if you continue to invest. Yeah. Opportunity zone is forgiveness. Meaning that you can go ahead and put it in there, and you keep it more than 10 years, then we'll forgive you.
So what I hear is that this guy's just basically tax evading, but legally.
I think that's what you talk to a lot of rich people. Rich people don't pay a lot of tax, mainly because, and I'm not saying I'm rich. I'm just saying that I'm learning to leverage and not paying so much tax. And there's ways to do it because real estate investment is a long term. It's not something in the short term. So if I have any type of investment, I can move to a long term portfolio. Then I can, and then there's money that I don't need to touch for a while. Then I can move in there, and hopefully in one day I can walk away tax free.
Yeah, and that just goes back to why we're doing this podcast and why we choose real estate as our cash flowing vehicle, because all those benefits on top with taxes.
And if you're watching this video, and doesn't matter where you are in your real estate journey right now, whether you're buying your first home or you buying your first rental property or you're house hacking, we wanted to share our story that can help you make that sound decisions. If you're buying it the first time, maybe you should consider thinking as a real estate investment as well, because this is a long term. So your first house won't be your last house, but it can be your rental later on. So you can treat it like one from the first day.
Oh, yeah. So, no, I think this is pretty good. Maybe what I want to get into is, what do you have in your portfolio? I know you're talking about opportunity zones.
So we got
give the people like some examples here.
We
Let's see what you got.
We have varies from short-term rental properties where we house hack. And if you guys know me, I pretty much have done everything there's possibly can for house hacking. I mean, I used to put 2 bunk beds in the living room and making $3,500 a month, and that's to that extent. And I have my cleaners pretty much. I employ them full time, where they just turn over the property as fast as they can. So we would usually for Airbnb, guests check out at 11 a.m. and then new guests check in at 3 p.m. So really, you have about 4 to 5 windows to turn the property. So that means we have to be very effective, very efficient. So we have a few property in our portfolio that we keeping it at house hack and then short-term rental, and we do that in areas that we feel that there's a demand for it. And here in Silicon Valley, when the rent market is spiking like it is now in the time that we're making this video, we started this back in 2017, where 1 bedroom, 1 bath apartment in Silicon Valley it's average right around 35 to 3,800 a month. And people have to pay for it because they work in the area. And if you're trying to go down 101 or 880 during 5:30, then you're stuck in traffic. So
Yeah.
people want to live closest to work. So we figured out how do we create a solution to housing and still provide quality, and we call it quality of home away from home, and allowing people to share one room out of the house somewhere that is very well situated, that they can just hop on a public transportation or a quick drive to work. And every weekend they go back to their home in suburb somewhere.
Yeah, no, and a lot of that right there was a lot of high level information, but really what we're talking about house hacking, we're basically making forced appreciation, meaning we're adding more to the home to be able to fit more people, to get more money.
Not only that, we're maximizing the income so
it.
we can still capitalize on buying a real estate property in Silicon Valley. Because keep in mind, our property here is expensive. So therefore, hence the expensive of rent. We wanted to make sure that we're still hitting the minimum of 4 to 5% cap, let's just say, for example. And we banked in a two-way. We capitalize on the monthly cash flow, and we also force of the appreciations because the real estate market was going skyrocketing during that time. So we can buy something like 800,000 in 2017, and in 2019, it probably worth like 1.2 million.
Yeah.
Right. So having the income to sustain that allow us to continue growing our portfolio. So that's why we started an Airbnb company. We start house hacking, and that's allow us to give that extra boost of income so we can continue and scale that business.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the name of the game, right? More heads in beds means more cash flow. So
I don't know about that, man.
well, you're talking about bunk beds, and I want you to tell the people what kind of strategic moves you were able to do to get more of a cap rate with one
If
home.
you want a bug bed story, I can give you a whole bunch. But it's the ideas behind house hacking is two things. One, you want to make that cash flow.
Yep.
Because you're buying the property so high. And what is house hacking for those people who don't know what it is? That's when you take a house with maybe 4 bedroom and 3 bath, and instead of renting out to one family that probably in this area you can get for $4,200 to $4,500 a month, for example, then you rent it out by the room.
Yep.
And you charge by the night. And who's all the people that are using it? They're travel nurses. Those are big one. Contractor, even like sometimes doctors or family members that their family or being hospitalized.
Actually, for my parents' Airbnb, because I help manage that, we get a lot of being next to San Francisco. We get a lot of Niner fans, surprisingly.
Yeah, because you guys are in Santa Clara area.
Yeah, Santa Clara area. So everybody's coming for the game, and
but that's seasonal.
Right, it's seasonal, and that's one thing that you also gotta take into consideration, right? It's by the season and it can be different every time. So going back to your point with the location and how important it is, because obviously with real estate they always say location, 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 right?
Right. When you do a house hack property, or we call it Think Hub, that was once in the name of a Wi-Fi at the
incubator.
house. So you wanted to situate at the property that nearby a hospital, because that's a guaranteed win. A lot of travel nurses, they have a stipend to travel from another state, and it's so smart for the hospital to hire travel nurses because they don't work here full time, so they don't have to have the income to afford the Silicon Valley living.
Yeah.
But they'll give them a stipend that they can go rent a place like hotel, of course. But who wants to come home to a 12-foot by 12-foot box with no kitchen? And sometimes you got to pay for Wi-Fi and parking.
Sometimes no window.
Yeah, so it's really somewhat depressing because you're working 10 to 12 hours a day and you're coming home to a box. So you want to feel like you're living, in a quality home away from your home. That is, you still got a backyard, you got a full kitchen, and yes, you do have some stranger walking in the house. But it sounds weird to you guys watching these videos. Say, oh, I don't want to walk around the house with a bunch of stranger. But I'm like, hey, I used to think about that before when I go in the back of a car with a stranger driving me, and then now we're just so used to that concept. So house hacking become a very adopt method here in Silicon Valley, and especially for those that are traveling here for work.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll give you a real life example for me as well. I mean, I'm getting started in my real estate investing journey, but my first investment is a house hack. So I've got this house that's a 3-2 with a detached garage in downtown because that's a normal thing. And when you see a detached garage, I instantly think, ooh,
Money.
second, exactly, right? Second income, baby. So, with the detached garage, we converted it into a 2-1. And going back to your point on why, on some people might think it's weird, I thought it was weird as well because I'm like, I don't want to walk around and be uncomfortable when there's other people living here. It's my house. But at the same time, I like not having to pay a mortgage. You know what I mean?
Let me share with you a story how I starting to scale that business because I used to have a house in near Santana Row. So that's very very well situated location, and we were house hacking that. And I got a message during the Thanksgiving. I think I was on Thanksgiving. That was our first house hack property where we have 2 bunk beds in the middle of the living room, and we were renting the bunk beds at about $35 to $40 a night. And we're averaging $3,500 a month for the living room. So I got a call in the morning. My cleaner are off duty. They with their family, so there's no one available. There was only me, and I got that message like, holy shoot,
Nice.
there's a problem with the house. I need to be there. So I went to the property, and all of a sudden I was seeing packed house, full house, all tenants, all guests staying there, and they're cooking, having a Thanksgiving meal together. So I sat down. I was like, "Hey, I'm the owner, and nice to meet you guys." I was just kind of interviewing them. If they're enjoying the property so far, and they very much enjoy the property. A lot of them travel alone all the time. This is the first Thanksgiving because they always work on Thanksgiving. Travel nurse sucks because they got the worst schedule.
Yep.
You know what I mean? All the people that get Thanksgiving off are the seasoned nurses. So these people have to work during Thanksgiving. So they came home. This is right around, I believe, 8 o'clock. And I had to stop in the middle of my dinner to go and attend this emergency situation. So I sat down, I talked to some of these guests, and they're like, Evan, this is the best experience so far because I met so-and-so here, and there was a surgeon.
Oh, wow.
Stay at the property, and he have to do an emergency surgery tomorrow. So he had to stay at the house hack, and he's from somewhere I don't remember. But we were having a conversation, high level conversation with these people. I'm like, you know what? I'd rather do this than having a meals like a prep meals in a hotel.
Yep.
So this is great so far.
Yeah, no. Just to kind of make sure we not wrap it up, but make sure that we kind of stick to the point where why we like cash flow with real estate is not only because it puts money in our pockets, but it helps us meet these people and help some of these people, and then letting you make some cool connections because maybe you might need a surgeon at some point.
I hope I don't.
After the makeup doesn't do well, right?
It's those stories that make us feel good about our business and what we're doing and why we're doing it, because we're providing a solutions to a very expensive housing crisis during that time, because people can't afford, or better yet, if they come here for 3 months to a 4 months job assignment, they don't want to go out and lock in a 12-month contract, right?
Yeah.
And if they rent anything midterm or shorter, it's very expensive. And renting a room in the house, it was a solution for them.
Yeah. No, and as the population keeps growing, I think housing is already such a dire need. It's just going to continue to grow. So why not get into real estate investment because of the cash flow?
And that's just one example of how you can maximize your rental. There's other ways that probably less headache, that is midterm rental. You can still break it out room by room and rent it 6 months at a time. Right. That way, less turnover, less headache for you, less active versus, because that's very active business, running a house hack.
Actually, not to cut you off, but I saw a news article recently where in the last year, Airbnbs have jumped up 50% in short-term rentals from last year, right? So the market has been getting a little bit saturated. So now to be able to pivot, real estate not only has short-term, but like we were saying, there's midterm, right? There's long-term. So very, very easy to diversify with real estate.
Yeah. There's many other ways. You can run a hybrid model where you can have a house hack and you can have a midterm and a long term. We have that. Actually, we have a downtown a duplex at downtown where we're actually running a hybrid model. Yeah. We're bringing in right around $14,000 a month, and we have a Airbnb on top, and we have a long term, and we have a long term, and we have an Airbnb in the backyard. And that's how we maximize it. Every square footage in your house can make money here in Silicon Valley if you're house hacking.
Nice, man. Yeah, I mean it's a Silicon Valley thing, but you can definitely bring this all over to different areas. But it's such a Silicon Valley thing because of all the tech companies
Right.
and how they grew in the garage, right? And how they had incubators with all these other engineers staying in one home, and
Yeah.
look how it's turned into.
Yeah, I had a chance to work with a first-time home buyer. Both of them are in the high tech, and they work all day.
Yeah.
And they want to buy their first home, and they was looking at a house, 3 bedroom, 2 bath in a certain area that's very good high school, and they don't have kids yet. And I say, why are you paying something you don't need because you're competing with soccer moms? And and this is when the housing market was hot, and they still have to overbid by 200,000-300,000 just to get inside to get in contract. So I told them, don't compete with soccer mom. Go for something that you need right now and buy something that you can house hack. So eventually we land on a property where there's an in-law units in the back, and they end up staying in the in-law unit and rent out the front house. And they go work all day. So it's really nice to have someone that's always there. One, two is that they don't pay for their mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how you house hack. If you're a first-time home buyer and you're thinking about buying a home and you're thinking it's way too much, look for ways that can offset your expense, and house hacking might be a solution for you.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a pretty good first episode so far. One of the reasons and big reasons we talked about a lot was house hacking, and reason why we like cash flowing through house hacking. But stay tuned for other episodes because that's just one way to be able to generate income when there's many other ways in real estate. And we're going to talk about current times and what's going to happen. But hope you guys enjoyed that episode. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the episodes really scratch the surface on what you can do and all the possibility that you can do with your rental property. So I hope you enjoyed that. We'd love to hear your feedback. Drop some comments down below, and we'll chat with you more.
Yeah, and tell us if you don't like house hacking. We'd love to engage with
Or
you guys.
Vin, the way he looks.
This guy always talking about the way I look. I'm wondering right here, man. Anyways, but follow us on all the socials. We'll have it down below and everything, all whatever. But stay tuned. We'll talk to you guys soon.